Good morning, students. Today again we are going to continue with the chapter Life Processes, and today's topic is respiration. So, cellular respiration. Now, if we talk about the cellular respiration is a set of metabolic reaction occurring inside the cell to convert biochemical energy obtained from the blood into chemical compound called ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. And metabolism refers to a set of chemical reaction carried out for the maintaining the living state of the cell in an organism. There can be divided into two categories: catabolism, that is the process of breaking molecules to obtain energy, and anabolism is synthesizing the energy. Okay, and glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain are the important processes of the cellular respiration. Now, aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration we have talked earlier. It is a process in which the food glucose is converted into energy in the presence of oxygen. The journal equation we have studied, glucose plus oxygen, there is formation of carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay, and it takes place in animals and plants. In muscles, we know anaerobic respiration take place and there is not enough oxygen, right? And there is accumulation of lactic acid that make the muscle sore, and this type of anaerobic respiration is also known as lactic acid fermentation. How ATP is formed? ATP is energy currency. ATP full form is adenosine triphosphate. This molecule is created as a result of reaction we know photosynthesis and respiration. There are three phosphate bonds present in the molecule and these are high energy bonds. We must learn that these are high energy bonds, and when they are broken a large amount of energy is released, right? And such release energy is then used for other metabolic reactions. Okay, I have told you about the types of reaction: anaerobic and aerobic. Glucose it break down to give pyruvate, and there is formation of anaerobic respiration. There is formation of alcohol plus CO2, and the lack of oxygen there is formation of lactic acid, and in complete absence there is formation of alcohol and CO2. And in aerobic, that is in mitochondria, there is formation of CO2, water plus ATP. Okay, now diffusion in plants. If we talk about diffusion in plants, plant exchange gases through stomata. We know that, and in diffusion process, CO2 and O2 are exchanged basically. Okay. Direction of diffusion depend on environmental condition and requirement of the plant. We know at night no photosynthesis occur because it occur basically in the presence of sunlight. Okay, and CO2 exchange take place, and during the day CO2 is used by plant, photosynthesis take place, and no CO2 is released to air, instead oxygen is released. Now, diffusion in aquatic animals. The breathing rate is comparatively faster in aquatic animals. Why? Because they are consuming oxygen dissolved form, and in dissolved form the gases they are less dissolved. Okay, that's why they have to breathe out fastly to complete their oxygen requirement. Okay, so they take oxygen, they take in oxygen water through water by the mouth. Okay, these are the operculum chamber in the fish, right? And this is the diagram showing how these are the gills, blood vessels and gill filaments through which the exchange of gases take place, right? Now, if we talk about in the aquatic animals more, then we can say that exchange of gases, why do breathing rate is faster as compared to terrestrial organism. There is also one activity, so you will read that activity. Okay, the aquatic animal take the dissolved oxygen form of oxygen either directly through the skin by simple diffusion or through gills, which are especially designed for this purpose since the amount of oxygen dissolved in water is fairly low. So aquatic animal must breathe faster to get sufficient oxygen. Fishes, for example, take in water through their mouth and force it past through the gills. And the larger surface of gills is lined with the blood capillaries where the dissolved oxygen is taken up. by the blood and CO2 is released into the external water. Okay. Now we come to the human respiratory system. Okay. This is the human respiratory system, and this is the diagram which I have taken from your NCERT only. You will draw this diagram and you will write the explanation. This is the nasal passage, this is the mouth cavity, then pharynx, and then the larynx, then rings of cartilage. This is trachea, then there are bronchi, bronchioles, and at the end there are circular structure which are known as alveolar sac, and below there is an arc like structure below the rib cage, that is the diaphragm. Okay, and you can see the respiratory, these are the bronchioles and these are the circular structure, these are the alveoli. Okay, so this is the diagram of human respiratory system. How does the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide in and out of the respiratory system take place? First of all, oxygen rich from the air from the environment is taken through the nasal cavity. It goes to the pharynx, then to the trachea, then to the bronchi, and bronchi then takes to the bronchioles, then to the alveoli. In alveoli, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged at the alveoli by the process of diffusion. Diffusion, how diffusion take place? On one side there is more concentration of one gas, and on another side there is less concentration of another gas. Okay, so from high concentration to low concentration there is exchange of gases. Okay, in this way there may be any gas, it may be O2 or it may be for example, the CO2 in the blood is more and oxygen outside the alveoli is more. Okay, so O2 is taken in and CO2 is released out. In this way there is exchange of gases. Then bronchioles, then bronchi, okay, then trachea, then pharynx, then nasal cavity, and CO2 rich air is moved out. Okay, oxygen is taken in and CO2 is released out. In this way there is exchange of gas. Now physiology of respiration. If we talk about the physiology of respiration, breathing in human is facilitated by action of internal intercostal and external intercostal muscles attached to the ribs and diaphragm. There is a dome-shaped diaphragm contract and become flattened, and the rib cage is expanded due to the action of intercostal muscle, and the volume of lung it increases, pressure there drops down, and the air from outside gushes in, and there is inhalation, that is intake of oxygen. To exhale, the diaphragm relaxes, becomes dome shape. Dome shape means again it's C shape it takes, and the chest cavity contract due to the action of intercostal muscles. The volume inside the lung decreases, pressure increases, and the air is forced out of the lungs. Okay. Now, inhaled air increases the concentration of blood in the alveoli, so oxygen simply diffuses into the surrounding blood vessels, and blood coming from cells from more concentration of CO2 than outside the air, and the CO2 simply diffuses out. I told you that CO2 concentration is more inside the blood and outside it is less, and in alveoli oxygen concentration is more and inside is in the capillaries it is less. In this way, from high concentration to low concentration there is exchange of gases. Okay, so thus breathing take place due to the combined action of intercostal muscle and the diaphragm, while the exchange of gases take place due to simple diffusion. Is it okay? This is the diagram showing the inhalation and exhalation. So in inhalation we can see the diaphragm it contracts and moves downward. Okay, it was here and it has moved downward so that the lung capacity it can increase. Okay, and in exhalation it goes up and the volume so that the lungs they contract and they can exhale out CO2, and in the inhalation they can maximum they are swollen so that the maximum oxygen it can come outside, and here maximum CO2 it can go outside. In this way there is exchange of gases, and diaphragm role is important. One time it become flattened and one time it becomes C-shaped. Here it is become flattened when the volume of lung it increases, and here it is become C-shaped when the volume it decreases. Volume of lungs basically. Okay. And this is why do we need lungs? So lungs in unicellular organism like amoeba, exchange of gases take place through general body surface by osmosis, and in lower animals like earthworm the gases exchange take place through moist skin. But as the animals start becoming more and more complex like in humans, diffusion only cannot complete the requirement of oxygen. So how the oxygen requirement is completed? So this is being completed by the help of lungs, because lungs has large surface area required for necessary for exchange of gases, and the requirement of oxygen is sufficiently met by these ways. Thank you. That's it.